What is up, Canes fans? It is the Beast, Brian Ludden. I'm coming to you, probably not live. Actually, I know it's not live. It's coming to you taped, but on the scene in Atlanta from the hotel that I'm staying at, just a half a mile away from Bobby Dodd Stadium, as Miami beats Georgia Tech 35-14. Hey, do me a favor, if you could subscribe to the channel, I'd appreciate it. If you could hit the thumbs up, that lets Google know, hey, this thing's okay, other people can watch it. And also hit the little bell, that'll notify you when new videos are out. And as always, the conversation continues on the social media, on Twitter, well, as long as Twitter is still there. I mean, maybe by the time this thing is uploaded, Twitter won't be there, but for now, you can hit me up on Twitter at Miami Radio Beast. So Miami beats Georgia Tech 35-14, and I think if you go back and you search my Twitter timeline, again, if Twitter still exists, I said Miami, to win this one, had to be able to run the ball because Georgia Tech was giving up over 200 yards of rushing offense per game. I think they averaged giving up like 218 yards on the ground to opponents per game. And Miami came out, obviously, without TVD, who was in street clothes. I have some video of TVD in street clothes, which is exciting video. And so it was Jacurri Brown to get the start, Jake Garcia as the backup, and Manny Navarro from The Athletic reported that story a couple of days ago. But so the Miami Hurricanes came in with a purpose of running the football. You have a freshman quarterback. You don't want to put him in a position to have to win the game with his arm. Not that he can't do it. I think Jacurri's got a great arm. But if you can run the football, that's going to help things out. And as Jacurri told us after the game, as the horns are honking outside, that the offensive line was key to this. Even though they're banged up, even though has been some shuffling around on that O-line, they came in, Jacurri told us, they came in with the mentality that they were going to be physical, and they were tonight. Jacurri Brown rushed 19 times for 87 yards, and Jalen Knighton, the Rooster, rushed for 16 carries and 118 yards. So that was really good to see. I think the last time the Canes had a 100-yard rusher was last year against Georgia Tech. But there was some key passing plays. Obviously, Will Mallory with the first touchdown, Skinner with the second one. Colby Young got into the end zone. So there were some key pass plays, but this thing was all about the ground game. And it was really good to see Rooster get his confidence back. We talked to him after the game. He was smiling. He was happy. He was upbeat. He admitted, listen, can't fumble the way he did earlier in the year. But, listen, Henry Parrish was out. Next man up mentality. And so it was Jalen Knighton's night to get the football, along with Jacurri Brown. Thad Franklin got a couple of carries. Lucius was in there a little bit, but this was the Rooster game along with Jacurri Brown. And what about the high stepping of Jacurri Brown? What about the hurdles of Jacurri Brown? He is sensational as far as his athleticism. Really nice, a nice night for him to come back to his home state of Georgia and get the victory for the Miami Hurricanes. So, listen, the pluses were they were able to really pound the rock against Georgia Tech, who does not have a good run defense. So that was the way Miami had to win. And I'll be honest, Mario is probably secretly really happy about the fact that they were able to win running the football along with Josh Gaddis. That's how they want to win, whether we like it or not. Tonight's game is what Mario wants. Now, Jacurri, very mature, did tell us after the game that, if he wants to have a long career into the NFL and beyond, he can't have a night like this every night because his body is just going to take too many hits, and he needs to protect himself and his body. But, Miami needed to win badly, right? Miami needed to win so badly to get to 500, to get to 500 in the conference, to have a chance to go to a bowl game. They had to win tonight. Now, listen, do I care if they get to a bowl game or not? Not really. the 15 practices, blah, blah, blah. Like, I get it. But if it means something to the players, then I'm all for it, right? If that motivates them to keep winning, I'm all for it. And to be honest with you, Clemson, I think is a team. Listen, Miami's going to be a huge underdog at Clemson, and I think Miami will be favored at home against Pitt. But the one thing I will say about Clemson is I think you can run the football on them. I'm not sure if Miami will be able to. Pitt is a whole nother situation. They handled Virginia very well. Their running back is back, but we'll see what happens with the last two games. But if Miami can win one and go to a bowl game, all the better. I thought the defense was up and down. There were still some missed tackles. But listen, the man of the night on defense and maybe overall, Kam Kinchens, ties the school record with 3 interceptions in a game, ties the school record with a 99-yard touchdown, pick six. A lot of people were in my mentions about Mo Sykes at Florida, and I was at the game on the sideline. Mo ran right by me on his way to the end zone. And it's one of the most spectacular defensive plays, I think, in my time being around UM, because it meant so much. The Mo Sykes interception, he tipped it in the end zone to himself, and I think he caught it at the 3. So he had possession at the 3, so it was 97 yards, I think. I don't think it was 100 yards. So that's that. But Kam Kinchens was great. He talked about just, being able to see the ball well tonight, that eye discipline that Mario has talked about. And Tyreek Stevenson on the other one had a good night with an interception. Unfortunately, this team is hurt with injuries. Henry Parrish was out, a bunch of guys were out, and Leonard Taylor was another one. He tweaked his ankle early on in the game and never played again. Mario said, I thought he was going to go back in, but he never went back in. Medical staff says he couldn't go back in, so we'll have to follow up on that one. Mario doesn't really like talking about the medical stuff. He will always take shots at us for that. And then I asked Mario the question, could Jacurri be your starter for the rest of the year? Here's his answer. Mario, is it possible that Jacurri could start down the stretch for the rest of the year? Or?
Well, when you perform that well, that's always going to be the first question. I'm sure you guys had that one loaded and ready to fire out. He did a really good job tonight. So obviously he's a really, really good player. So he's earned a lot.
There you go. There's my question and the answer. I did my job. That's what all of you tweeted at me that you wanted me to ask. And I asked the question. I'm just here to serve you. We don't know who's going to start. Mario did say that Tyler will be healthy before the end of the year and will get back in at some point. But, the way Jacurri played against Georgia Tech, it's hard to tell the kid, hey, you had a spectacular night, but you have to sit on the bench. So we'll see what happens. But aside from some missed tackles on defense and the penalties, luckily, they didn't cost Miami the game. You need to clean some of that stuff up. So aside from that, just a great win for Miami. Georgia Tech's not good, but that's the idea. You have to win the games against the teams that aren't great. And Miami hadn't had really one of these this year, where they went out there and the entire second half, pretty much you knew Miami was going to win. It was close at halftime, went in at 14-7, I think. And then in the second half, Miami found their footing, both offensively and defensively, and they are bringing the win back to South Florida. So we'll see what happens. It was great to get up here to Atlanta. My thanks to everyone with Georgia Tech Athletics who welcomed us so nicely. Thanks to Cam Gorby and the crew with the Miami Communications Department that I need a little extra oomph to get a credential for some reason. Listen, I don't work for the radio station anymore. I do my own thing. And Georgia Tech was like, well, I don't know if we're going to give you a credential just because you make these YouTube videos and you're on Twitter, and even though you've been around for 25 years, like, we're not sure. And then, Miami said, hey, the Beast is okay. Give him a credential. And there it was. Plus, I had already made the resis up here to fly up here and stay up here in Atlanta. Love coming up here. Love doing games at Bobby Dodd Stadium. It's an outdoor press box. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful site. It's always a great trip. It was great to see so many Canes fans in the house. Always great to see everyone on the road. Walking back to my hotel, saw a bunch of Canes fans, give me high fives and waving and whatnot, and that was great as well. It's always a great time to come on the road and see and get so much love. And it's just it's nice to see the Canes win, right? Would have sucked to make a road trip and Miami lost. So on to the next one. And we will keep doing this. Don't forget, please subscribe to the channel, hit the thumbs up, hit the little bell, follow me on the socials at Miami Radio Beast. And until next time, I will see you when I see you. Peace.